the mystical magic box micro. The circle, or box actually, which is magic, which allows you to control air units properly. Something which lately a lot of people I've been asking haven't really understood what this was. And this is something we used to talk about a lot in the early days of StarCraft 2. So for a while I just kind of assumed everyone knew what magic boxing was, but I've been talking to a lot of players who have started playing the last couple of years and almost no one seems to know what magic boxing is. So I wanted to do a really quick video today talking about magic boxing and explaining exactly what it is for you guys so that you can kind of understand this very important mechanic for microing air units properly. Basically, the magic box is this invisible marking around any units you have selected, and whenever you tell your units to move outside of that box, they are going to maintain formation, and whenever you tell them to move inside that box, they are going to actually clump up. And this is very important. So let's take a look in game. Let me show you some examples when my game decides to actually load, which it will in just a moment. Come on OBS broadcaster, here we go. Okay, dudes, so number one, here's the most important scenario, which you'll always hear talked about, which is mutas versus Thors. Now, these mutas aren't microed at all. I just told them to attack. The Thor splash is massive, and the mutas all die. So this is the best example of one way to use magic boxing is to stop that happening. So, whoop. Those aren't Thors. So, instead, remember guys, there is an imaginary box. So the magic box is this imaginary box about here. Basically, it always extends to just a little bit beyond the extremity of your units. Now, remember, the units are actually where those dots are, so it would actually be like about there probably. So anytime I give these Mutalisks a command, a move command within that box, so remember the box is there, let's click within the box, they clump up, they break formation. Anytime I click outside of that box, they maintain formation. Okay, so you can very quickly see how this is going to be useful. Sometimes you want to clump up to get around your opponent's defenses, get in with all the mutas stacked up, kill some targets, get on out of there. Other times there's splash damage around. You really want to kind of break up and split. And this is important for every race in certain situations. So let's take a look. So if I want to fight these Thors, I need to always be careful to click well beyond that box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give a single right-click command well beyond the Thors. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press H for hold position as my Mutalisks fly in over the top of those Thors. And the way I want to adjust it, I killed a Thor. Once again, click further away. Oh, clicked a little bit far. There we go. Hold. Right-click, hold position. Beautiful. All right, so that's fantastic. This is a really simple mechanic, yet it has far-reaching consequences. So how else can you use this? Well, here's another common one. As a Protoss player, this is using the opposite of the magic box. Rather than using it to spread, you're using it to clump your units. Notice how I'm stacking those Phoenix right on top of each other just by clicking within that magic box, basically clicking at their feet. And what this does is it allows me to stack those Phoenix up so they can come in from the edges, taking minimal damage from that Spore Crawler. An even better example of this is going to be when you have mass Mutalisk up against range Phoenixes. So I don't know if I've got enough space on this map to actually micro this perfectly, but we're gonna kind of do the best that I can. Oh, here we go. So notice I want to stack all of these Phoenixes as much as possible so that they're all shooting at once. Now, unfortunately, there's not as much space on this map, so I can't create as much space as I would like to make this work. But normally, I'd be spending a little bit more time running away, and then whenever I'm about to re-engage, I re-clump those Phoenixes so that I can come back in, and they can all kind of shoot as one. And this is how just a handful of Phoenixes with range, with the right micro, can blast down infinite mutas. Now, realistically, you don't need to do this, but you'll notice that if I don't clump up at all, if I don't do the magic boxing, each time I bait out, my units go back into formation and the units at the back aren't shooting. So if I want to keep my Phoenix out of range, half of them, or even most of them, are just flying backwards. Whereas if you clump them up, you can both be having everyone shooting simultaneously while staying out of range of the Phoenixes, out of the mutas, sorry, and not taking any hits if you do it perfectly. I'm a pretty average Protoss player, and it's been a pretty long time since I've done this. Also, I'm on the Western US server. I probably should have hosted this on AU so I could show off the micro a little bit better. Nonetheless, we're going to kill about 40 Mutalisks with 10 Phoenix. That's bloody efficient, guys. That is disgusting. Alright, what else? Corruptors. Oh yeah, okay, so whenever you've got air units and you want to avoid splash damage, it's really important as well. Here we got Corruptors versus Liberators. If you just A-move them, they're all going to clump up and take way more damage than they should. Luckily, Liberators do almost no damage to Corruptors, but even that is just disgusting. So check this. Once again, just move past the air units, hold position. That's so much better. That's so much better, isn't it? So just watch that one more time. If I just A-move those Corruptors, they naturally all start to clump up at the front a bit, and that gets kind of gross. So this is really cool. Let's go back to the mutaverse, the muters. So just back to this idea of muters, and I'm even going to do something just to explain something. Since Brood War is coming out, StarCraft Remastered, let's talk just a little bit about, Mutaverse Thor. And let's add in an Overlord. Let's start. So in Brood War, you could only control 12 units in a hotkey, right? So what you'd actually do is you'd get 11 Mutalisks and you'd have an Overlord. And Overlords were like ridiculously slow in that game. They are ridiculously slow in that game. And you'd put them on the same control group. And what this would do is it would actually expand the magic box, because your muters are over on the other side of the map at your opponent's base. We can throw those muters away. And the magic box now extends all the way around those Overlords right down to the Mutalisk. So literally anywhere you click with those muters, even if it's up here, even if it's quite far away, notice they're clumping. They're not maintaining formation. And if I want to clump them more, I can always click at their feet. And this is because that Overlord extends the magic box a ridiculous distance. So this is something where players would use that and they'd stack all the Mutalisks up right on top of each other so they can dart into bases, come in from nice angles, you know, pick off an SCV, pick off an SCV, pick off a missile turret. The Marines and everything couldn't really get in range of them. And that's really cool when you think about that. But we only really use it for clumping most of the time with Phoenixes. Occasionally with Vikings as well, if there's no storm or splash damage out, if you know you can stay out of range of your opponent. And a couple things like that. So what else? What other situations do I have here that I thought of? We got... Oh no, that's a terrible situation. That's not important. Oh. Here we go. Vikings. So once again, this is what I was talking about in terms of... Vikings coming forward. So let me just load that one up. Viking spread. Let's make sure Storm's upgraded. Yeah, Storm should be upgraded. Cool. It doesn't matter. Either way, the High Templar didn't have enough energy there. Now, there we go. Now it's got enough energy. Fantastic. Alright, so there's this cool thing, right, where often with Vikings against Colossi, you'll be trying to clump them up. So you can do the all shoot at once while staying at the maximum range, rather than having some of them stray further forward and getting hit by Stalkers. So against Stalker Colossi, there's always this point where before Storm is added in, before there's any AoE, that's basically what you want to do. Now, normally there'd be a bio army underneath as well. But this is the sort of micro you guys would see, right? And you can do that back and forth, so you can all fire a volley at once and pull back when you're both kind of vying for position. And that's really cool. It's what actually gives the Vikings the air superiority. However, if you do that, the moment splash damage comes in, remember that's the key here. Oh god, why the hell did you clump up under Storm? Ugh, obviously it becomes a bad idea. So generally speaking, it's always nice to clump up your air units so you can use them all at once. The moment your opponent gets splash damage out, put it back in your pants. Stop trying to be fancy, because you're going to have a really bad time otherwise. Awesome sauce. So that is it, guys. That is magic boxing. Just to reiterate very quickly one more time, the magic box is an imaginary box around your units. Every time you tell your units to move within that box, they will... Well, actually, it's a little bit closer than what I did there, because you notice they maintain formation. Anytime you click within that box, they will clump. Anytime you click outside of that box, they will hold formation. Beautiful little mechanic, very useful for your fast-moving harassment units. And yeah, generally very nice. There's a question in chat that says, hey, did he do it with carriers yet? I've never really thought of using this with carriers. It's not the most relevant, but let's have some fun with it. Let's see. So, I mean, your carriers, yeah, it's going to work the same way, right? So, I don't really know what splash damage you'd really be trying to spread against, but let's imagine you're up against a crazy Zerg who's like, I'm going to have 10 Vipers to parasitic bomb the shit out of your carriers. Same concept. If you really care about it, you can just keep them, you know, move command. So as long as you're doing that, the moment you start doing commands like this, all your shit gets clumped up. It's much more important with units like Void Rays. Void Rays are more important because Void Rays are the units which are going to clump, and they're a little bit more fragile than the carriers. So if you don't clump them up, that's when we get to see them all clump up, and then the parasitic bomb just kind of goes ham, and it's like, oh god, every Void Ray just disappeared. Cool. GG. So only wanted to do this as a very quick video today, guys. Didn't want to talk too long about it. Hopefully this gives a good example for you guys about exactly, you know, how you should be using these units. A good suggestion from Bullier, he says, a good example is muta versus infestors. You need to keep your mutas very spread out and then keep magic boxing them. The moment you clump them up, the enemy fungal will land and they'll all get obliterated. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for hanging out. Really appreciate the support. Don't forget to send in your replays for this week's ICYFAR. Of course, the challenge is Jebaited. It is so easy to send in awesome replays for this one. But at the same time, you have, I'm expecting some friggin' great replays. Just send in your best baiting replays. Information is down in the YouTube description as always, as well over there in chat. So check it out, dudes. Thank you very much for hanging out. For you guys who are wondering what map I'm in, I'm just in Legacy of the Void Unit Tester. All you need to do is load up the arcade, type in LOTV Unit Tester. It'll be the first map that pops up. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Don't forget to hug a watermelon, kick a walrus, and of course, punch a garden gnome in the gonads. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night.